In 1996, a new cartoon hit our TV. It was all about these dudes that wore these awesome mech-like exosuits that gave them different abilities. It gave us action, excitement, and characters who were well suited for a toy line. I apologize. This is Rewind Toys, and today we're talking about the Centurions. Alright, so again, it's 1986, and this company called Ruby Spears starts production on a new cartoon series. Now, you might know Ruby Spears. They were responsible for The Puppy Who Wanted a Boy and Goldie Gold and Action Jack. What? I have no idea what those are. Oh, okay, that's much better. They were responsible for Thundar the Barbarian, Rubik the Amazing Cube, and Sectors. I was worried for a few seconds. I don't know about you, but I was like, eh? Now, to be completely upfront about this, the cartoon was in fact developed just to sell the toys. Like, that was the whole point behind it. It happened a lot in the 80s. Still, that didn't mean they slacked off when it came to the cartoon series, having the characters designed by famed comic book artist Jack Kirby and Gil Kane. Oh, and the stories? They were written by Michael Reeves, who wrote Batman the Animated Series, Mark Scott Zicree, and Larry DiTillio, Real Ghostbusters and Masters of the Universe. The Centurions is the story of three, eventually there would be five, but they started with three, hero-like guys who are experts in specific fields. Let's call them specialists. They're equipped with advanced exosuits, all of which can be upgraded with additional gadgets and weapons. Now, they're tasked with fighting the evil cyborg scientist, Doc Terror. I mean, his name is Terror. You knew he was going to be a bad guy. Like, his name is Terror. Also, his robotic minions, all of whom want to take over the world. Because that's what bad guys do. Now, Kenner, at this point, desperately needed a win. Star Wars was starting to fade for them, and G.I. Joe was over there becoming this popular new line, making a fortune for Hasbro, and so their thinking was, why not make something that could rival G.I. Joe? Mask had done well for Kenner, and so they took a page from Mask, as well as the G.I. Joe idea, and then they merged those things together. Centurions Power Extreme was a really cool concept for an action figure line. The exosuits, allowing for upgrades and attachments, meant it could be changed, and additional accessories sold to expand the line. Now, this expansion was capable thanks to the designs of the suit. But before we get into the design of the suit, let's talk about the action figures themselves. Now, unlike G.I. Joe, which stood 3 3/4, the Centurions came in at 7 inches. As I said, originally there were 3 of them. There was Max Ray with Cruiser, Jake Rockwell with Fire Force, and Ace McCloud with Sky Knight. Each had their area of expertise. Max Ray was the ocean guy. His name is Ray. It's Max Ray. Jake Rockwell, land. He was land expert. And Ace McCloud, air. He was air. It's implied in their names. It's right there. It's like hitting you right over the head. So the TV series would go on to introduce 2 more characters. Rex Charger, the energy expert, and John Thunder, the infiltration commander. His name is Thunder. It seems like he'd be like a weather expert, but he's an infiltration commander. Anyway, unfortunately, those 2 never made it into production. There was a planned second wave, but it never made it into production, which sucks, although there are unproduced prototypes that do exist out there. I've seen pictures, never in person, of course. Those prototypes, they're highly collectible, and over the years, a few have popped up. So maybe if you're watching this now, maybe you know what to look for. And if you see them, you probably can't afford them. But if you can, you should probably get them. Now, there were 2 bad guys released, Dr. Terror and his henchman, Hacker. There was the Doom Drone Strafer Vehicle and the Doom Drone Traumatizer, which What a great name. Like, you don't want to mess with that. The Traumatizer? No, you don't want to mess. That's a great name. Sounds like a 80s Arnold movie. The Traumatizer. Then we had the assault weapons packs, the sort of upgrades, as it were. Depth Charger, Hornet, Skybolt, Detonator, Orbital Interceptor, Seabat, Swingshot, Wild Weasel, Tidal Blast, and Power Pack. So we're here, and I'm asking you to please subscribe. Your subscription can save one puppy a day. It really doesn't, but it doesn't hurt any puppies either. And so I'm asking you to do it because it's free for you to do, and it really helps, the channel. And I want that to happen. So please, if you have a moment, please hit subscribe. And while you're at it, might as well hit that thumbs up. So those exosuits. Instead of traditional accessories, this line featured assault weapon systems that, according to the backstory, were beamed down from a space station. The suits had a sort of Lego-esque thing going for them, allowing kids to snap on weapons, wings, and additional armor directly to the suit. This let the characters upgrade and change into land, sea, or air combat experts, and again, it allowed the company to release additional packs that you would buy and, they'd make more money, and it was a win-win for everybody. So the Centurions made sense on paper, and the cartoon was popular, but the toys, they were kind of expensive for the time, running between $10 and $15, which compared to G.I. Joe would run you $2.50 or $3. Man, I wish they were that much today. They were also kind of bulky. I understand that in order to make their suits work, they kind of had to be, but at a time when figures tended to fall into a certain scale, kids just didn't gravitate towards these, quite as much. Plus, they came in after G.I. Joe. They came in after Motu and Mask had already made their presence known, so it was difficult for them to kind of snag a foothold. Still, the cartoon, which did run for 60 episodes, it kind of stuck with us, or some of us, over the years, and the figures have become, pretty sought after. Loose and complete, one might fetch you $15 to $25. Complete loose, you're looking at $50 to $100, and in box, in good condition, $200 to $300. Now, these figures were never reissued by Kenner or any other company officially, although a third-party company called Ramen Toys released we'll say inspired, unlicensed line called 80s Commanders. Now, I do not know all the legal ins and outs of such things, so how they did this, I really don't know. So will there be an actual revival of the cartoon or toy line? Well, I really don't know. At some point, the property was stuck in legal hell, which means a reboot would be difficult under those circumstances. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But there has been a huge revival of 80s action figures and 80s toys, so it is possible. Anything's possible. So there you have it, gang. That's the story of the Centurions, a really, really cool toy line that never managed to find its way completely. But for those of us who are around, we remember them fondly. How about you? I mean, I remember them fondly. How about you? Do you remember this cartoon? Were you a fan? Do me a favor, drop it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your feedback on this one. And that's it, guys. Until next week, when it comes to collecting, short-lived toy lines, remember, the hunt is half the fun.